terminologies associated with LPP. Important terminologies, I repeat. Please note down that. Okay, why we call important terminologies to say, okay, without understanding the importance of these terminologies, you cannot finalize your LPP solution. You cannot finalize your LPP solution. ಈ ಟರ್ಮಿನಾಲಜೀಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ದಿರ LPP solution ಅನ್ನು ಫೈನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, that's the reason why we list them as important terminologies. First among them is called as feasible solution. A feasible solution, okay, or a feasible area is the area which satisfies all the conditions, including non-negative conditions of LPP. Whether it is less than conditions or more than conditions or more than zero, and all the conditions it is satisfied, and therefore, okay, that is the where exactly the possibility of getting your optimization, okay, is expected. Optimization, possibility of optimizing your solution, possibility of, one second, possibility of optimizing your solution, optimizing your solution is expected either Z max or Z minimum. That you all know about this, Z max or Z minimum. Now, feasible area is the area, or feasible solution is the solution, okay, which incorporates, which includes, which is embedded with all possible conditions or constraints. Next, infeasible. That is just no antonym, opposite word. Infeasible means the one which is not satisfied with your constraints. It is called as infeasible. Okay, whatever the area that is marked, that is shaded, I said no. Okay, color it, shade it, and all. Except that everything else is infeasible, because okay, there you cannot optimize your solution. Okay, if you go to your earlier graphs and all, okay, you could easily find out, okay, whether the LMN area or that is MNCE area, only those areas are called as feasible area. Okay, there are even other areas too. Those areas are not called as, okay, feasible solutions or feasible areas. And any solution, okay, which is marked with this infeasible points, okay, that is called infeasible solution, because that is the area where, okay, your conditions or the constraints, okay, decision constraints are not satisfied. Decision constraints are not satisfied. That is infeasible. The bounded, okay, it is almost similar to your feasible solution. Bounded solution, okay, is the one, a solution bounded and unbounded can definitely increase. There is a definite solution. Bounded solution means definite solution. Definite solution. Finite answer. Or I can say one single solution. One single solution. Bounded means that is your closed area of your feasible solution. Bounded means closed. Bounded means closed area. Okay, you can look at your earlier graphs. LMN is the closed area. LMN is your closed area. You can just look at your earlier graph. Okay, and why this is closed area means, okay, within that area you get a finite solution. Within that area, within that area, you get what is called as the solution. That is single unique solution. Now unbounded is just opposite to this. The solution which is not finite. Unbounded means unbounded. The solution which is not finite. The solution which is not finite. When there is no finite solution, when there is no definite solution, if it is not finite enough to find your Z max or Z minimum, there we say that the variables either indefinitely increase or indefinitely decrease. Either indefinitely the increase go to the upper side of the line, or they indefinitely decrease the downside of the line. Okay, if that indefinite increase or indefinite increase, okay, of the objective function, that leads to unbounded. Your unbounded solution, infeasible solution, both means same. Okay, only with regard to some technicalities, okay, there is some difference. Otherwise, both are same. Yes, feasible solution and bounded solution, again both are same. Okay, there is no much difference between these 3 or 4. Next, decision variables. Okay, these decision variables are the variables that will decide your output. The one which decides your Z max, the variables which decides your what is called as objective function. They are called as decision variables. They are called as decision variables. You have seen the examples. Your decision variable may be time, maybe space, maybe okay, your labor, maybe your cost, or maybe in terms of your number of hours of time, processing time, and like that. Okay, there it could be many, and any of such variables are called as decision variables, which decides your output. Output is either Z maximum or minimum. That is your objective function. Output is nothing but objective function. Output is nothing but objective function. Okay, next. Okay, objective function again. Okay, it is the function which is formulated to decide whether it is associated with the cost or whether it is associated with the profit. The variable that is denoted by Z. We use Z to denote this objective function. Okay, there is no much difference between your objective function and okay, your output or your optimization kind of things. Okay, all these things are in relation with your result basically. What result you're expecting? Whether you're expecting that my profit to maximize or cost to minimize, and the formulation of okay your profit maximization or cost minimization by using your decision variables, that too by using a mathematical equation. Okay, we call it as a objective function. Next, constraints are the restrictions. I said profit or cost. Okay, they are subjected to something called as if conditions. And these if conditions are called as constraints. And these if conditions, if it is increased or if it is less than so much, or if it is in between, or if it is equal to, we say, Okay, all these if conditions, they are addressed. If conditions are addressed by using, if conditions are addressed by using either less than or more than inequality, either less than or more than inequalities. They are addressed by using either less than or more than inequalities. Okay, understood? Any questions? Any questions? Non-negative conditions that in general, okay, we say addition variable should be positive. Okay, that's it. We'll not go with taking either x or y as negative. That should be always more than or equal to 0. 0 is also fine, but that should not go less than 0. That's what are non-negative conditions. Okay, any questions? Hello? Any questions? All these things are
No, sir.
already, we have already experienced while solving the problems. Okay, we have the awareness of objective function. We have the awareness of objective function, decision variables, constraints, non-negative conditions. Okay, feasible area, feasible solution, bounded area, bounded, I said, closed area, the one which is okay, surrounded by our corner points. Okay, all these things we have already experienced, and practically we did it by using a graph, and probably now it has become much easy and simple, accessible for you to understand what exactly I'm referring to. Yes? Any questions? Any questions now? Okay, this is the theory part of LPP. You may expect one question from this theory part for 10 marks. Marks, maybe it is based on assumptions. Terminologies. Maybe based on assumptions, maybe based on terminologies. Okay, or maybe based on its applications. And also limitations of LPP. And even you can say scope of LPP. These are all some of the hints that you are supposed to take care of if you are answering the theory question from this chapter. Okay. Any questions now? And now linearity and finiteness. Linearity addresses the relationship between the variables. You say that the relation should be linear. Linear means straight line relationship. Linear, that is straight line relationship. Straight line relationship. Okay, even we call it as constant slope, dy by dx, we call it as. Okay, a small change in independent variable. A small change in independent variable leads to a small change in dependent variable. A change in x leads to a change in y. This change should be constant throughout. This is what is called as, we call it as, okay, slope is equal to delta y by delta x. A small change in x will lead us to a small change in y. Proportionately, this change is proportionate. There is a proportionate change. What do you mean by linearity? I'm addressing linearity. Second, linearity that addresses proportional change. Proportional change. Between the independent and dependent variable. Between the decision variables, you can say. The decision variables. It is independent. We call it as X. And dependent variable, we call it as Y. Any question? Finiteness is all about your finite solution. Whatever the solution that you are going to expect or get from LPP, that should have a finite solution. Finite means there should be something measurable in finite terms. You cannot say infinite, not known, unmeasurable. There should be number of input and output need to be finite and measurable. Input and output variables. I'm addressing finiteness. Input and output variables needs to be finite and measurable with respective units of measurement. These units of measurement is very much important. Whether our variables are measured in terms of kilograms or liters or meters or how we are measured. These units of measurement is very important. Then only we can have this finite measurement. We call it as scales of measurement. We call it as scale or scales of measurement. You should have a proper scale of measurement. To measure your input and output variables, to measure your input and output are independent and dependent variables, addition variables, so-called. There should be proper scale of measurement. Without scale of measurement, or if you say the scale of measurement is not finite, is not known, then you cannot formulate LPP. Understood? Any questions? Understood? Any questions?
No questions, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay. Yeah. I'll close at somewhere around 40 minutes or 45 minutes. And rest of the time, I'll continue with discussing the marketing students regarding their project and their titles. And as you all know that just now we have received the communication that within 30th of this month, you are all supposed to finalize your project titles, topics, and 15th of July, you are supposed to submit the synopsis, chapter 1, or I can say introductory part of it. Okay, that's what exactly the dates you have received. And with regard to that, I'm going to address you my part of 1 to 14 people, those who got my allotment. Okay, you can stay here in the class. Okay, maybe after 45 or 50 minutes. Okay, another 20 minutes is there. I'll just continue with this. Now advantages. You can say advantages are merits of LPP. Merits of LPP. LPP promotes logical thinking, better insight into business problems. Say you have a business problem, unless and until this business problem is converted, translated into a mathematical, logical problem, like, okay, you cannot solve it. It provides quantitative measures to solve business problems. LPP facilitates the conversion of business problems into or as mathematical problems. That is the best part of it. The best part of LPP is that any business problem you give, okay, I can give you the mathematical version of it. I can just translate and give it to you. Okay, solution, okay, then we can think of whether it can be solved, whether you can get Z max or Z minimum, whether we are going to have finite solution, infinite solution, whether the problem can be solved, whether the problem cannot be solved. Okay, is there an infinite solution? Whether the problem of that particular business, okay, can be taken into consideration, whether you need to go with the business or not to go with the business, or whether to continue with the same business or not to continue. Okay, like that. Okay, you have what is called as alternative courses of action. There is something called as alternative courses of decisions or actions. Now, there should be some rational methodology to evaluate, right? There should be alternate. There should be some what is called as, there should be what to say, there should be some means to evaluate these alternate courses of actions. LPP does this. With the help of LPP, you can evaluate the actions, whether to accept the particular decision or not to accept, whether to go with the decision, whether not to go with the decision. Okay, if you say you are getting some infinite, unbounded, infeasible solution, better we say drop that decision, drop that idea. You cannot get the product, you cannot launch the product, you cannot consider that particular target market, or you cannot consider that particular product formula, like that. Okay, you cannot consider that as a strategy, like that. Okay, we will say business strategy and evaluation. LPP is the best. Okay, it has got best quantitative norms. I can say LPP has got the best quantitative norms to evaluate your decision alternatives. Understood? And LPP provides an information base for optimum allocation of scarce resources. Say we have very scarce resources, limited resources, and we can have what is called as a justification can be done, okay, so that these resources are allocated properly. And LPP assists in making some kind of adjustments according to changing conditions. Okay, we can have a rational mix. We can have a rational mix among the variables. Rational mix among the variables. We say X and Y. Okay, totally we say there are two variables. Okay, one X refers to production for A, Y refers to production of B. Okay, the time allocated. And the total time allocated is less than 10 hours. Okay, you can have a rational time saying that. Okay, you can have 5 hours each. 5 plus 5 hours. Okay, 3 plus 7 hours. Okay, 6 and 4 hours. Like that. Okay, you can give a justification. Okay, why you have given okay priority to X or priority to Y or equal priority. Like that, you can have a rational mix. Okay, that is the best advantage. You can have a rational proof. Okay, you can have what is called as empirical evidence based adjustments can be done. Empirically, you can prove whether you are right or wrong. Empirically, you can prove by making use of your LPP. Okay, you'll have the empirical proof. Okay, whether to go with the decision or not to go with the decision. That's what exactly the merit of it. LPP helps in solving multi-dimensional problems. Okay, you better don't take this statement right at this point of time. Okay, it has got a broader scope, multi-dimensional. Needs to say that. Okay, LPP not only focused on variables of two in nature. Okay, it can have multi-dimensional variables, more than 2 variables. Okay, that is not our scope today. Okay, as of now, okay, we focus only on 2 variables. That's the reason why. Okay, I'm telling you. Okay, this last sentence you can skip. Okay, don't take this statement at this point of time. Even if you take, okay, this is not the time to elaborate. Okay, because of my limitation or because of my restriction. Okay, syllabus restriction, I can say. I cannot just go beyond 2 variables because beyond 2 variables creates a lot many complications. Maybe you're not matured enough to go to that kind of understanding. Now the limitations. As all of you know, LPP can be used only for the variables which can be stated quantitatively. Okay, you have any qualitative variable. Okay, you cannot apply LPP. For qualitative variables, LPP is not the option, is not the right option. There is something else for qualitative variables. When you say, as you're all entering into your project writing and its report, okay, you will come across different kind of variables, qualitative variables, quantitative variables. Okay, and for quantitative variables, the analysis is very easy, very simple. Okay, we have a better scale of measurement. But when it comes to qualitative variables, there is no proper scale of measurement. And you need to develop your own scale of measurement, or you need to convert all the qualitative variables to quantitative, and then these quantitative into proper measurable units, maybe in percentage, maybe some scale and all. Okay, one by name Rensis Likert, probably might be heard of this name. One by name Rensis Likert has given a beautiful formula, okay, beautiful concept, how to convert all the qualitative variables into quantitative variables. Okay. A British managerial professional from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. MIT, you might be knowing about this, right? Francis Likert is from MIT. MIT has got a chair in the name of Francis Likert. Okay. And this man developed a beautiful approach, most concise approach, a capsule kind of thing to convert all qualitative variables into quantitative variables. We also call qualitative variables as categorical variables or nominal variables. Gender is a nominal variable. Okay, you cannot say gender, you cannot measure the gender male, or you cannot measure the gender female. You may count the number, but if you say gender as a whole, you cannot measure it. In what units you can measure it? Okay, is it you can say 50% male gender, 50% female gender? Okay, you cannot have any of such proportions. Like that, there are several qualitative variables, okay, where the researchers face a lot many difficulties. Okay, for such kind of things, we can refer Francis Likert scale. Likert scale of measurement. Okay, we have 5-point scale, 3-point scale, 10-point scale. Okay, like that, there's a scale of measurement, and even okay, that concept teaches you how to develop your own unique scale. That is also possible. But here in the case of LPP, okay, qualitative variables, you cannot apply LPP. Okay, okay, it is totally I can say what to say, it is totally restricted. Now it is difficult to decide in term when you say limitations. It could be what is called as decimal answers. Say something called as you may get an answer saying that you can purchase 1.6 machines. Okay, say there are 2 machines available, machine A and machine B. Okay, depending on their cost and depending upon their processing time and depending on their maintenance and all. Okay, you'll get A, you can purchase 1.6 machines, B, you can purchase 2.2 machines, 3, you can purchase machine 3, you can purchase 3.1 machine, like that. Okay, in that case, it becomes quite difficult. Okay, people say, okay, it is better to apply in that case. There is one more advanced technique of LPP that is called as integer linear programming. Integer LPP technique. Idu aste, okay, probably even at MBA level also, the people won't teach about integer LPP. Okay, if you go for higher studies in statistics and what is called as I can say operations research, we have a subject called as OR, operations research. In operation research, okay, you are going to have this LPP maybe as a specialization. Okay, if you study OR as your MBA specialization course. And even at this point of time also, don't think more about these complex things. I'm just mentioning the names. I'm not confusing anybody. Okay, it's all you can just hear and just leave it off. One kade in the kelskoli, in one kade in the bitpudi. Okay, don't think more about qualitative variables, more about Francis Likert. Okay, if you're interested, that's fine. If it is not interested, okay, I'm not disturbing you. And even the integer programming also, and even the concept OR also. It is also, it's just for the sake of information, I'm just sharing it. Okay, I'm not confusing anyone. Okay, don't worry much about these concepts. And LPP technique cannot solve the business problems of non-linear in nature. Generally, we say that LPP is not meant for non-linear. There is a whole different concept, okay, for non-linear problems. Okay, there is something called as ARIMA models, and there we go for this non-linear structures. No, there is something called as exponential variables. And if you say exponential rise or exponential increment or decrement, and there are some other non-linear functions. And in the case of non-linear functions, he cannot apply LPP. And LPP is highly technical. It's highly mathematical. Okay, you need to have mathematical basics strong. Then only you can think of applying LPP. Okay, if you are weak in mathematics, okay, you cannot think of applying LPP. Because if you have the equations, you can solve them easily. But okay, if you are given with a case, then formulating the case into your mathematical problem itself is a hell. It needs a lot of rational thinking. Not so easy. Okay. That's about limitations. Managerial applications of LPP. You can all write down this. Okay, it is applied to a wide variety of problems listed below. Optimizing product mix. Okay, say we have 4 piece or 7 piece. Okay, you can optimally allocate. Okay, prioritize. You can prioritize all the marketing mix elements and least cost combinations. There is something called as transportation solutions, or in logistics we come across these transportation problems. Transportation problem. There is a class of problems called as traveling salesman problem. There's a solution. Okay, there's a salesman. Okay, who has got some 5 territories to visit. Okay, selecting the least route. Okay, not visiting any center twice, and you need to cover the distance with the least possible time or with the least possible route. Okay, with a unit cost allocated. And how to minimize this distance. That is what is called as traveling salesman. If anybody is interested, you can go to my YouTube channel, and there I have posted some problems on traveling salesman. Try to understand them if you are interested. Okay, if not interested, leave it. Don't worry at all. That will not come for your examination. Okay, examinations ge okay, your either transportation barala, traveling salesman barala, ಏನು ಬರಲ್ಲ. If you just write these some 8 or 10 points, that's more than enough. Okay, if you are very much interested to know about this, okay, you can visit my YouTube channel, and there you can see transportation problem is there. Okay, LPP, some higher order problems also there. And okay, if you have any questions, you can call me. And deciding the transportation route, there are several designs of what is called logistics management. As Aman yesterday was speaking to me, much interested about to know about logistics management. Logistics is all about minimizing transportation costs, minimizing logistics expenses, supply chain. How best you can design the supply chain so that okay, your overall cost of your supply chain elements is minimum. How to design that? There's a very rational way to do this, and LPP can provide you the solution, but not the simple LPP of 2 variables. You need to go for something else. Okay, maybe you need to have a problem in the form of a matrix order, arrange it, and then you look for the solutions by making use of several higher order techniques. Next, you can have proper scheduling and inventory controlling problems can be solved. Okay, inventory, there is what is called as EOQ problems. Okay, economic order quantity problems are there now. With the help of LPP, your EOQ can be solved very, very easily. Okay, the available traditional EOQ methods, okay, they are quite complicated, but with the help of LPP, and if you're able to formulate your entire EOQ problem into some kind of equations, then it is very easy. Okay, even it is 3 or 4 variables also, need not to worry. Okay, there are some methods to solve them. There is something called a simplex method, big M method. Okay, like that. Okay, you can have a whole algebra. Okay, can be applied there, and you can solve for EOQ variables. And blending problems. Okay, blending means mixing of different processes. Okay, which process to be started first, which process to be closed in the least, whether okay, you need to have a grinding first or mixing first or blending first or like that. There is some kind of blending problems and minimizing what is called as wastage of raw materials. Waste management also you can use LPP. And there is something called as assignment problems. Even okay, in my YouTube channel, assignment problems is also there. You can check it. Assigning what is called as different jobs to different people, so that either you can minimize the cost or even you can maximize the profit. Resource allocation, job allocations. Job allocations. Says we have some 4 people and we have what is it say? So we have some 4 jobs and we have 5 people, and I need to allocate 4 to 4. One man will not get the job. Then how to remove that particular one man and identify that you are not fit to the job? That is called as downsizing, or that is called right sizing. Among the 5 members applied for your that kind of task or a job, any 4 can get the job, because available jobs are only 4. That's a constraint. I can give job only to the 4 people. I don't know which one to be eliminated. To take such a rational decision, you can go for this assignment problem, a special classification of LPP. As I told you earlier, there are somewhere around 22 or 24 different classifications. One classification itself leads to one big ocean of understanding of your mathematical models. Okay, one day contra saku, okay, you will be getting the right amount of analytical skills. Any questions? Okay, again, the applications continues, allocation of limited resources, solutions to business managers. Okay, you can have right strategies framed. You can have right business strategies. Right business strategies can be framed or can be formulated. Yeah. Now from here onwards, you know about graphical method, and it's that was the gap that I'm supposed to fill it, and it's done. Any questions that I can address is already okay. 50 minutes over. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions?
No, sir.
Have we understood the concept of LPP? Have you understood the concept of LPP? Conceptual framework is more important rather than solving X and Y. Anyone can solve these equations, but getting those equations is difficult, really challenging. Hello? Yeah, any questions, man? You said yes. Yeah, tell me, what is your question, Abhinandan? Abhinandan, what is your question? Hello, I'm not getting you. You said yes. What is that it refers to? What is your question? Or you are telling I'm yeah. I meant for the topic, no questions. Oh, fine, no problem. All the best. Okay. Anything else you want to share with me? And tomorrow onwards, we'll be solving a few more okay, graphical method, graphical related questions. And I hope so. We have some questions here. Okay, I think this problem is already solved. No, I think this is not solved. Okay. 4x1 plus 4x2, x1 plus x2, and this is we have not yet solved. And you can take this problem and you can, okay, this is what exactly the graph. As I said, if Samson is there in the group, you can understand there's a feasible area without any intersection. Okay, and this is about today's class, and you can note down this problem. You can try solving this. Take this problem and try solving this. Z max is equal to 4x1 plus 4x2 subjected to x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 10, 6x1 plus 6x2 less than or equal to 36, x1 is equal to or greater than or equal to 0, x2 greater than or equal to 0. Take this question and try solving it. Hello? Yeah, I think you just keep copying it, and meanwhile I'll mark your attendance. Okay. Shall I stop it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Fine then. Yeah.